Hello and welcome to an all new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. My name is Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and this is episode number 154. I am joined by my wonderful, beautiful co-host, the one and only Shannon. How you doing, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Like I said, I feel good. Um, Life is beautiful right now. You know, it's for me personally. Life is
Okay,
good.
that's awesome.
And we're also joined by a young lady. I'm so glad. This is the first time I've had her on the show. The one and only Kedra. How you doing, Kedra?
I'm doing great.
And Kedra, you do so many things. So you're a writer as well, filmmaker. What else?
Poet.
Shout out to the poets.
You need to be in
Okay,
our
yeah.
writers group. You need to be in our writers group.
I do. I'm just all around. I just love creativity.
Yeah. We did a show a couple weeks. Uh what was it like being with a creative person or something like that?
Yeah.
So dating a creative person and all the interesting things that come with it. But tonight we're talking about securing the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Securing the bag in a relationship. So that can mean so many things. And this past weekend was the NFL draft. And we saw a couple of interesting situations. We normally don't talk about like stuff in the media because I feel like it dates the shows.
Yeah.
But this thing kind of relates to kind of what we want to talk about. So there was a couple of incidents that happened during the draft. There's the I believe his name was Isaiah Wilson. They show him getting drafted by the Tennessee Titans, and he's emotional, this brother, and he's overcome with emotion, right? Because this is like the biggest moment in his life. And so his girlfriend, who is a Caucasian young lady, she just puts her arms around him and basically covers him up for the cameras. And dude's mom like yanks her off.
Okay.
And
Don't mess with a black mama.
I mean, it's not even about that. Nobody in their right mind with any good sense would have sat in his lap, hogged up his moment, knowing that he's being filmed and we are in a pandemic. So he is not nowhere where he can be out in the limelight on a stage or anything like that. He is virtually showcasing that he was chosen. But the only person you see is her newly bleached hair and her white jersey. Like, ma'am, I'm going to need you to go sit over there and blow him air kisses while he gets his 10 seconds of fame.
Okay, let him have it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. And there was a lot of criticism of the mother and whatnot, and then there was also criticism of the young lady. I don't know what her name is. Don't care.
Apparently, social media, you don't call her Karen.
But I thought that was a funny moment. And also there was another moment with this guy named CeeDee Lamb who was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. And so he's sitting there, and they showing him on TV as he's finding out he's about to get drafted. And his girlfriend is a sister, very pretty girl. And he has two phones. So he's on one phone talking to whoever, and he has the second phone. And then she picks up the second phone and he just snatches it from her hand,
On the phone with the Cowboys.
Right.
Trying to FaceTime him on his other phone. According to her, she was just trying to answer it. However, caveat, it is his moment. I'm going to need you not to snatch his phone. Sit down, be cute. Don't miss your opportunity to secure the bag moving forward. Because his mama and him was like, man, you're done.
You're done.
Look, if you've been broke your whole life.
Listen.
No,
I'm
oh, okay. Like if you've been broke your whole life and something like this, you worked so hard and then now you're going to become a multimillionaire. you're gonna have people around you, some in your family, uh, people that you sleep with or potentially date, that's gonna be looking at you as their lottery ticket as well. They ain't tackled anybody or scored a touchdown, but they're gonna try to have access to your funds. And if you're a young lady and you start dating this guy who, you know, is in college, a broke college kid, now he gets drafted to the league, you can't help to be thinking like, I done came up, you know? And, you know, all of a sudden those birth control pills become Tic Tacs. You know, them Trojans start looking like Swiss cheese. You know, you know, there's definitely different tactics. One thing I heard was there's this method where, okay, I'm gonna say how I found out about it. There's a guy who wanted to come up with an incinerator, and what it is so what happens is there's a thing called sperm jacking, and it's like you have protected sex with a wealthy man. And what you do is he uses a condom, he does his business in the condom, and he throws it in the trash, right?
You'll retrieve it out the trash.
They retrieve it out the trash and take his ooey gooey, you know, and deals with it. And that's a way that some women have been securing it back. You know, that's not illegal, by the way.
It's a moral fail.
Right.
Yeah.
But
you gotta explain to your child, I'm a sperm thief. Like, you know, why all of a sudden you starting to still use condom sperm for your coochie gremlin? All right, I'm gonna let that one go. Clearly, I've been healed from that. I'm gonna let it go. Go ahead.
That's evil, right? To do that.
It's horrible.
But Blake Griffin, who was on the Clippers, now he's on the Detroit Pistons. He got someone pregnant, and he pays something like $100,000 a month child support. $100,000 a month. I can totally understand why somebody would sperm jack. You know, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but I think we live in a culture where people that's all they good for. Like, they see you for dollars and cents. They aren't looking for, you know, trying to understand what your character or your soul or your heart is like. The only thing they're worried about is your portfolio, your practice, sports, and your pocketbook, because that is what's going to help them be successful. Being attached to you in any form or fashion, whether it's a kid, we done slept together, we in a relationship, we got all these Insta likes, all these, you know, Facebook controversies, Black Twitter lovers, whatever the case is. It's ridiculous. It's too much. And then people look at that with the hashtag relationship goals, and now everybody wants to do that too. Like, we don't want to build nothing. We want to just be in ready-made relationship.
Like Stephon Jackson when he left his baby mama at the altar because she would not sign the prenup.
That part.
I understand that. I understand. Like he said it clearly. I worked so hard. Nobody was in that gym with me. Nobody spent all these hours. And he said, I take care of a lot of people. And I'm not going to marry her unless she signs this prenup. Yeah. Left her there crying.
Yeah, but
then after that, she want to sign it. She want to sign it. He said, no, I was born at night, but not last night.
Absolutely.
Then you sign it under duress.
Right. And then it can get thrown out. But see, the conversation was had before we got to the wedding day. So when I read that article and listened to him talk about it on his video, it made sense to me. Like, if we're having a conversation about it and you agree to this, because a prenup is something you agree to anyway, which is why it's drawn up in the first.
That's right.
And so if you don't agree to it, do not wait until the day we're going to say I do to throw this curveball. Because I'm going to say I don't. And I'm going to go party like it's 1999 without you.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you
so I mean, it's his money. He just spent it. It done went down the trash. You tripping. Now you done got a pastor that you ain't never met before on the street. Somebody else who telling you why you need to sign a prenup and da-da-da-da. Sir, I don't know you. And nothing short of the coming of Jesus Christ is going to stop me from getting this prenup signed. So if you don't want her to sign it, you marry her. I'm about to go do something else. I understood. I felt that in my shana. No. I was like, okay, bro.
Okay, I felt it. I was like, he right.
Yeah, I mean, even if you sign a prenup, I mean, you're gonna get something. You know, it's likely you're gonna get something. You're not gonna. I mean, she said that in the chat room, Steph says that Chris Bosh's baby's mother is on welfare, or his ex-wife or something like that. I don't know anything about that case, but I would like to look that up. But I don't know. I think as the person with the money, you have to be, you have to protect yourself. You can't be out there willy-nilly, sleeping with everything. And you know what I'm saying? And then also
future.
Right. And then also when you decide who's going to be your wife, you got to be with somebody that really cares about you. Now, people can misrepresent themselves,
of course,
for sure. But I don't know, if you do your due diligence right, I think you can really, I mean, what is it that they're going after to decide who they're going to marry?
Well, a lot of people don't marry for what we would consider the right reasons. And of course, you could say everybody's right reason is different, but the bare foundation or core principles of what marriage is built upon, people aren't marrying for that. People aren't marrying on the vows that they take, for better, for worse, in rich and in poor and sickness. And they aren't marrying for those things. They're marrying because you look good on paper. They're marrying because you can take me up the success ladder. They are marrying because I'll never have to work again. All I gotta do is give you all these babies. I mean, because we can hire a nanny and a tutor and travel the world and be on our yacht all summer. People aren't necessarily marrying because they want to do the work. People are looking forward to weddings, but not marriages. And so
that's right.
Unfortunately, we aren't having the conversations about doing the work. There is a camp of people who talk about it, especially like in, Christian conversations, and then people who are relationship based, who believe in the sanctity of marriage, who will talk about doing the work. But most people are just trying to smash, look good, take a couple of pictures, put up a couple of hashtags, get some paid partnerships on the gram.
Get all these surgeries.
Listen, we live in a culture where we do things for likes and applause, and not to show people that we're growing, we're building, we're advancing our legacy, whether it's our children or people who come in beside us and saying, I believe in marriages because of y'all.
Right. She said, hilarious. Okay. So I want to talk about this from both ways, right? So if you are, let's say, Shannon, you have hello?
Yeah, weird.
Okay, that's weird. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, my audio went completely for a second. All right, so Shannon, Kedra, you have a son, right?
I do.
Oh yeah, huh? I don't even have to. I mean, for you, it's real. And let's say they're about to go to the NFL, NBA, whatever. What are you talking to them about as far as? I would expect that you are having this conversation way before that. But what are you talking to them about? Women and decisions that they're going to be making going forward.
Go for it, Kedra.
Well, luckily for my son, he already knows about women because he be schooling me. He be like, yeah, I'm not talking to so-and-so. She's a thought. I don't have time for that. And he wants a particular type of woman because I may not be religious, but my son, he goes to church all the time. He's real heavily in the church. So, you know, he's not green as far as, even though he's in the church, he's not green as far as relationships. He knows what it consists of. I tell him what to look for. You know, you need to look at her heart, see if she wants you for you. Even if you got money, play broke and see how long she lasts around. You know, do little things to see. And then also, if you feel like she's the one, give it a chance, because the truth will come shining through sooner or later. You gotta take a gamble if you want love.
Yeah, it's all a risk. It's all a risk. I mean, and anybody who's a good parent is going to want to protect their children, not be overbearing and not suffocate or smother them, but give them the resources and the tools and the wisdom that they have as parents, because you know, once you've lived long enough, you know something, just to guide them or give them the direction that they need, so that when they're out on their own, when they've left the nest, you know, they can be successful and, you know, encompassing the ability to make sound decisions or mess up and learn from them and make different decisions in the process. But if I had a son and he was going to the NFL, the NBA, wherever, you know, Major League Baseball, it don't matter. I would say, do not let a coochie jack up your contract.
That's
because
right.
At the end of the day, they can trade you because she's not the representative that they're looking for. Because that's happened before.
That's true too.
Or you can make the boss moves that you need to make because they signed you. And if you want to make this a long-term career of yours, you have to make some sound decisions. And that means you might have to put some people at a distance, not because you don't want to be with them, but because where you are right now requires your undivided attention. And if she can't understand that, then she ain't the one.
And everybody can't travel with your success.
I mean, that's so true. Sometimes that information requires you to let some people go.
Yeah, I've definitely had to let people go, and it's not always romantic situations, but you know, sometimes you just outgrow people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely,
definitely.
It's only at the top. The higher you get up, the less people can travel with you. They're not going to understand that it's about something greater than them, because then they're going to make it about them. Well, why you didn't mention me, or why you didn't help me? It's not about you.
Now, Kedra, you are a woman who, you know, who's out there as far as, you know, you have a lot of things going, a lot of irons in the fire. How do you find someone as far as relationship wise that can kind of measure up to what you got popping?
Right now, it's not happening. Unless it's another artist that can kind of understand me, but then they're so self-absorbed. So right now, I'm just kind of in my own lane.
So like, I mean, what do you mean exactly by
that? Let's say, like, I have a friend. I call him Mr. Columbia. Okay. And so we plan dates together. You know, we eat, we do stuff, blah blah blah. But we're not in a relationship because I don't see myself being with him in a relationship. But he's good at it.
Oh wow. Stephanie, I don't see you in the chat room. This you might want to refresh, because I don't see her in the chat room, but I see her
here either, but I see her comment.
Right. So you might just need to refresh. It's like, okay. Okay, so we talked about this. So he's we were talking about this. I don't know if it was on the show or it might have been on a show I was guesting on, but we were talking about how women will have like guys who are, there she go, I see her now. Guys who are they feel purposes, right? Some guys, you know, the guy that you can get money from, you know, who
we've talked about it on previous shows, not necessarily the current one.
Right. So he sounds like the guy I call the notebook friend.
I mean, it's not necessarily a money thing with him. It's just we spend quality
Right, the
time
Notebook guy.
together. But
No, he's the Notebook guy. The guy that you
yeah, but
watch
I
the
don't see
Notebook
us
with,
being together.
you know, and yeah, the guy.
Yeah, we watch all the Mexican mafia films together.
Yeah, but here's the problem with it is that I mean, it depends on what he wants, right? He wants a relationship, I imagine.
Somewhere he might,
Yeah,
I guess.
he does.
I don't
You know
ask
he does. so it basically it sucks for him because he's wanting, you know, more of it. So he's gonna sit there and watch these movies with you and do all this stuff, and you know, and all he is to you, to him, is like a puppy. You know, he's like a little puppy. He's just like a you know, and then you know when that guy that the slick guy comes through, you know, the guy that makes your heart go like this.
I don't even know if that's gonna come through because I haven't seen that in a long time.
But that's what you want though. You want that guy that you're passionate about. That guy that
I don't know if he exists.
He exists. Not in no Jacksonville, but he exists.
You know what? He doesn't exist because you say that. Like, you are manifesting what you are getting. So until you change that idea, I mean, he doesn't exist because he doesn't exist to her.
Is this a guy that on sight you think that you'll be attracted to, or is it after you get to know him, then you'll feel that?
After I get to know him, I don't do physical stuff because that will lead you down a road so dark. Going by, ooh, he looked good. Nah, it's got to be his heart.
Really, his heart. But the Notebook guy got a great heart, but
his mind.
He don't do it for you though.
In the mind, it's got to be the mind too. You might have the heart, but if you don't have both of those conjunctions together, it's not gonna work.
Okay, so what? That's a great thing. Okay, I'm gonna read this comment and then I'm gonna get to that. I usually need to get to know people, but their looks do catch my eye.
Oh, okay. Of course.
So what gets you? What is boring to you?
What is boring to me? Boring to me is a man that's just one track.
Okay, like he just wants to watch TV, or he doesn't Netflix and chill every all the time.
No variety.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like some spontaneity. I want to. Come on, let's go skydiving.
Oh hell no!
Let's go horseback riding. Let's go do something.
Not no skydiving.
Let's go jump out that plane.
Skydiving? No. What's up, D? Skydiving, horse ride. I forget you from the South. So that's horse riding. Right. That's out here. There ain't no women asking you to do that shit. I ain't never met no girl from Cali talking about let's go horse riding. You know.
Let's go horseback riding.
No, okay. So you want to skydive, or you know what? I'd be like this. This is what this would be. Some chick was like, "Let's go skydive," and I'd be like, "We go to the place, and then she'll get on that plane, and I'll be on the ground. Like, go ahead, girl."
You have to take a class before you do it. Yeah, I had that type of date before. That's really nice.
I'm good. Let's see. Your friend Melissa, right? Okay, she's saying our community has a bunch of hurt people, so I think the conversation needs to start with healing ourselves. And
absolutely.
Yes, and Sam says marriage is a joke now. The entertainment business makes millions of dollars off of creating dating and marriage shows. Yeah, I agree. Cali isn't the Wild West. Not Los Angeles, California. Maybe in some of the other parts of Cali, but nah, we ain't riding no horses and shit. You know, that's
y'all used to ride
in the 1800s.
Don't play like that.
This is 2020, girl.
You gotta go further out in the country.
I mean, Cali, yeah, but Los Angeles is not. It's like people from Atlanta say, "I'm not from Georgia. I'm from Atlanta." You know, I'm not. You know, it's like I'm from Los Angeles. It's way different than other parts of Cali.
Of course.
So,
of course. Want to touch base on was it Melissa?
Mm-hmm.
About the hurt in the community and healing ourselves. I think that's a heavy conversation that we have to be willing to have, especially since you have people within the community who don't believe in miracles.
Mhm.
You have people in the community who believe Jesus is the only answer. Um, and then people who don't really talk about it, they put it under the rug, not having these conversations, or don't even know they have trauma that they need to unpack. And so I am a supporter of healing yourself whole because I don't believe that broken people should be in relationships with whole people. Um, it's a recipe for disaster and cutting people
You're
up.
right.
And
You're
so we
right.
create these domino effects and wonder why we keep having a residual of broken people because people aren't doing the work, but they're getting into other relationships and breaking more people. And so, yes, we have to do our light work, whatever that looks like, support group counseling, therapists, staging, aligning your chakras, praying, meditating, yoga, weed, whatever you use as your therapy, alternative medicine, etc. And then once you've done that, you have to find another person who's done their light work and enter into a safe space and a sacred space with that person to begin the process of a healthy relationship. Because if you guys aren't talking about it, communicating effectively, and comprehending what you're communicating, it's just gonna be you're gonna keep running in circles, and we're gonna keep having these jacked up relationships, and people aren't gonna face their demons, do the work, and we'll keep running around looking ragged and saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I wish everybody would just do the work and hurt people." Like all these cliches, we hold and hug cliches like they're the cure for everything, and they're not. You gotta do the work. You gotta put in the effort.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened with me. I really gave my heart to this guy. And now this man is much older. You know, I'm thinking he's older. It might be a better relationship. No, he wants to be a player at 60. I can't do it.
Oh no.
I can't
What else?
do it. Yeah, he want to be Playboy. He's I'm looking on Facebook. He in Africa with some other chick. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother story. That might be a whole
Lord have mercy. Raquel took the
Wait,
word.
it's not cheating if it's in the motherland.
Please don't perpetuate that foolishness.
He's trying to get to know his roots. His roots.
Please.
Yeah.
No, she's from America too.
Shit.
They both lived together.
He's 60. He was probably delirious. He didn't realize.
Ain't nothing wrong with that man.
Oh man.
You've got his spectacles. In Africa, there are tribes that let you sleep with their wives as a welcome gift. Oh shoot. Oh man, that is a hell of a welcome gift. Take me wife.
Yeah, I'm gonna move my husband out the way and be like, you can try it if you want to. You will stay right here. I'll red dirt.
Okay.
And be pushing daisies because you're gonna be under the ground.
All right, so we talked about the guys having the bag. What about when a woman got the bag? Kedra, we know Kedra got that bag. It's been well documented that Shannon got the bag.
Lies. Hey, Luke. Hey, Bobby. Don't do that.
Stephanie got the bag times 10. So I know she's a target as well. Guys will target. She said, no, I don't. So Kedra. So
it's quite funny when
that part
you have money. Yeah, that part. It's a whole different ball game. And they put on they put on some airs thinking they're gonna get with you and you're gonna get
go ahead.
We curse.
We grown.
Okay. Thinking you're gonna get dickmatized. Because some women do. They get dickmatized. I was just talking to somebody today. This chick came into like a couple $100,000 and she started messing with this guy, paying his way, talking about, I just want to show him appreciation.
Come find out he had a whole wife. Not even a half a wife. What's up, Curtis? Wow. A whole. So.
But he did what he had to do to get the bag from her. You know what I'm saying?
The wife might have been in on it too. Like, baby, get that paper. Oh shit.
The wife was in on it because she found out later on Facebook. You know, everybody.
Wow. That is a great couple though, if you think about it. A family that schemes together stays together.
And then after they got the bag, they moved to Atlanta.
I want to be a fly on the wall when they hatched this plan. When they were sitting back, they were like, "All right, baby, we need to use your." She's like, We need to use your penis to get us up the social ladder."
And you come across the wrong one, and you end up with your brain splattered on the wall.
Hey, Melvin.
Oh, okay. Some people don't. Women are really emotional, and they might just. I used to watch Snap before.
So, Kedra. Okay, so a guy who's enterprising, who's looking for a woman who, of substance, of stature. He might be you're from the South, so the Piggly Wiggly or wherever it is that you guys go in the South.
Piggly Wiggly. You're talking about South Carolina now.
What are we in Columbus, Georgia?
But it's a different.
What? Oh, it's Bojangles.
Publix.
Publix. Okay, so you at Waffle House, wherever, like the uppity, like where's the uppity? Where do the uppity black people go in Jacksonville?
Racist. They go to places like
Red Lobster is balling.
They go to Ruth Chris. The Red Lobster is balling because they got the prices pretty high now. They go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse because that's like really upscale. You got to spend. You're not walking out there spending less than $300.
Hey, you can impress people by taking her to
most of the time you go into places
Red Lobster.
Like that.
Hey, them Cheddar Bay biscuits be on point.
Oh wow. Okay. So Ruth Chris.
Beyonce made it popular.
Ruth Chris. It's a restaurant, right?
Ruth Chris. Mm-hmm.
So you're there.
Yes.
Ruth Chris with one of your homegirls, and this enterprising brother, right? He looks over, and he goes, "I know that girl got money. I know she's of status." So he's waiting for your girl to, go to the bathroom, powder her nose. And then he slides over to your table. And he's all like, "How you doing?" And he starts making his move. Right? Because, Kedra, you like I said, you're a woman of substance. You keep yourself, top notch, right? So, what do you do when you get approached like that? Maybe not that specific scenario, but a scenario much like it.
Well, first of all, they're gonna be sadly disappointed. That's the first step. And then, if he's looking to write off my coattails to get what he need to get, he barking up the wrong tree. Because first of all, I don't even want a man like that. We can build together. That's not a problem because I'd rather build together. But nah, if I'm not a gold digger, I definitely don't.
What if he said, "Look," he breaks it down to you. He's like, "We'll look at what we both can bring to the table." And he says, "You bring intelligence, you bring great work ethic, your success, right? You have all of that." And he's like, "I bring more than grade A penis." and I can fix a leaky pipe every once in a while.
I can fix a leaky pipe too. So
what did
I mean, first of all, if he comes at me like that, it's over anyway because he doesn't want to know who I am. He doesn't want to know my story. He doesn't want to know anything about me. He just want to know what we can do right off the rip. No, you need to take time to try to know me as a human being, as a person. What type of morals do I have? So he got to go.
But there's a lot of women, though, who, especially when they get a certain age, who they'll be like, I was married once before. Me and my husband broke up. You know what? If he can, hit that spot right, he good. There's a lot of women like that.
There's a lot of women like that, and there's a lot of women that's not going to settle for that. So it just depends on who he's talking to. Yeah, it depends on who he's talking to. Now, the one that's going to go for that, more power to
Yeah.
you. Because I ain't that one.
How big is it? Hilarious. Hilarious. That's the deciding factor. That's funny. Hey, Luke.
But wait a minute. He can have the good peen, but who's to say I don't have the snapper? So why do I need him?
That's true. That is true.
Mm.
It's definitely true. So, I mean, but that adds to the attraction, though, right? Is that aspect?
No, because really, a woman is not thinking sexual as soon as she meets a man, unless you just out there like that. Oh yeah, that's not the first thing on your mind.
She says, "I'm thinking sexual." Hilarious.
Oh, oh,
Our hormones are going.
So, I mean, Shannon, I know you're wholesome adjacent.
Don't judge me, judge your mama.
How's my mama getting this? But come on now, you do think of you ain't that wholesome. That is a part of it.
Let me tell you to stay out of grown folks' business, okay?
All right, do you this sweet? You can be if you're good in bed, you can be way more of an asshole.
Why?
Like you could be over the asshole line.
It's people that suck in bed and it's a complete donkey. Out of that.
Okay,
wholesome
yes.
And to be BSM hilarious. She is wholesome.
Look,
I can't say hilarious.
Stay out of grown folks' business.
Okay. But let's just not act like that's not a thing. You get away with more. No, I'm talking about
on
in a
first
relationship.
date?
You get away with way more if you hit the right.
Oh, of course. I mean, and I
he
think there's
did-
some
he
truth
got
to
to go.
that. But like I said, I think that pendulum, it swings both ways. I think there are people who aren't good in bed and still feel like they can be an a-hole.
He says, but if you're saying being good in bed gives allowance to be an asshole, yes, it does.
But the point I'm making is that people that aren't good in
it does
bed,
not.
who may think they're good in bed, are that too. So it's not even that may be a catchphrase, but it's not the exception. People, donkeys come in all shapes and sizes.
I agree with that, but I'm saying that you would if a guy sucks in bed, you're probably not going to accept his asshole nature.
Even if he is, you're not.
Maybe not you, but most. Come on, that ain't a thing. I'm making this shit up.
No, we're not saying you is, but you're talking to the wrong group of women. Like
keeps it real.
But we're not arguing that that's not a fact. What we're saying is that's not what we're going to do. Like, I'm gonna call you out on it, and you might still give good head, but you're not about to be an a-hole about it.
That's right.
So while we at it, I'm about to eat your last taco since you want to act like that. Thank you.
But Shannon, no, you wouldn't. I mean, I know you're saying this because that's the right thing to say, but you wouldn't give a guy somewhat a little pass if he's really good.
This is why I'm single. No, I would not.
Shannon, really? Really?
No, that's not. I'm sorry. Because let me tell you, this is true. Dick can go a mile and pussy can go a marathon.
You wouldn't give a guy a slight pass on some shit that you wouldn't give? You guys are that evolved?
No.
Are you kidding me right now? I mean, you over there drinking hand sanitizer and Hennessy, and you talking about you that involved? Cut it out. And eat your
I don't think you definitely telling the truth. I think in the chat, you ain't.
And I'm not
no
knocking.
one here has ever gave a good dick dude a pass.
But everybody's entitled to their own truth. I'm not arguing that the head game can't be fired, but I might let you get it. But I'm still gonna call you out after you done got it. That don't mean you got to be an a-hole and then let me get some. No.
Be like, this is how you call him out afterwards. It's like, please stop. You were supposed to pick me up from the airport. Please, next time.
You pick me up from the airport if I had the Uber or a taxi? Nah,
yeah,
bro.
He forgot.
Oh no.
He's like, He's like, oh, was it today? I was supposed to pick you up.
No.
Was it today that you just got your pink slip?
But then you're gonna miss the penis. Then you're gonna be like,
okay, so maybe I'm missing the whole story behind this, but I mean, can a woman not orgasm by herself?
Exactly. And when is the last time that you could turn in a dick and get money for it? Like it's not 24 karat gold. If he got good penis, there's somebody else with even better.
I have plenty of self-love, but it ain't the same. Thank you.
Not the same, but you know what? I'm not about to be dealing with no foolishness just to say, oh, he didn't stroke it right tonight. No.
Because but you do realize, okay, if he stroked it right, the next day you're gonna be at work happier. You're gonna have that smile on your face. Your friends are gonna be like, wow, you're just so much happier. True.
But what if you got the snapper whapper? He's the one thinking all that. I mean, it could go either way.
No, I admit it. I admit it, guys. It could
be the woman.
Guys. Yeah, I agree. I'm not. I'm not in denial. I'm not in denial.
Whatever, Kente.
Wars have been started over coochie. So I don't think none of us guys would deny that we've made bad dick decisions.
No, and no woman is denying that either. But the thing is do we want to accept that? The answer is no.
You don't want to accept it, but we can't act like it's not a real thing. That
nobody isn't. It's just something that we both agree we're not willing to do right now.
Okay.
Are you with somebody right now, Kedra? Okay, my point exactly.
No.
But come on, Kedra, it does give you somewhat of a benefit of doubt. So if let's say he didn't come home till 3 a.m. and then let's say y'all live together. And he didn't come home till 3 a.m. and then he's like, he gives you some BS excuse about he had to take his grandma to basketball practice.
He had to take his grandma to
I don't know. I'm just making up shit.
I'm gonna open my door.
Because number one, honesty and communication is key. If we don't have communication, if we don't have honesty, and we can't be grown adults and talk about things, you gotta go anyway.
You're not gonna be like, I don't like it. You should have called, but next time. You just gonna throw the dick out with the bathwater. Stop it.
Bumbleclot, you got to go.
You're gonna want to believe his bullshit.
No, I'm not gonna want to believe his bullshit because you know why? I've been through too much bullshit in life, and that's not something I'm willing to accept.
Oh, but in the past, that was more of a thing. Would you say that?
We've already said that. We've already when I was young and done. We've done this before. We don't want to do it anymore. You missed that whole conversation.
Okay,
that's right.
So, can a guy be a great dick provider and also be a good dude? Does one cancel the other one out?
I don't know. Is this what the bag is about? Because I didn't. This is not how I was planning for this to go.
Does one cancel the other out? Can he be both?
He can absolutely be both. Can a woman love and be a good woman? Yes. People can be multifaceted. We're not one dimensional.
He be laying in bed like, what you want, girl? Do you want great sex or do you want a good guy?
Let me tell you, I had a good guy and he had good sex, but guess what? Something else came in. He was cray.
It does.
So that canceled everything.
Okay.
So what do you think about the comment? And I posted this to my wall earlier today. People who were raised on love shouldn't date people who were raised on survival. Don't answer all at once.
Go ahead, Kedra.
Wow, that's deep.
Okay.
I think Naturally, I was raised on love because I'm a poet and I still believe in love somewhere out there in the universe. Maybe it might be on another planet or something, but dealing with a person that's raised on survival, that's a whole different set of circumstances and a whole different set of morals, I think, because they're not going to see a lot of things the same way that you're going to see them. And it's going to cause some type of conflict in the aftermath.
Like, go ahead, Kente.
No, I was going to say, I was definitely raised on love. And I think it shows about how awesome I am. But, you know, I've definitely, I would definitely say that having two loving parents who always, my dad always told me he loved me, you know. I'm the youngest child, right? And I was a kid that they didn't expect to have, you know. So I'm the only kid my parents had together. They both have other kids. And so my dad was at a different place. He was older. He was 45 when he had me. So he was at a different place, right? And so my parents were able to do things that they didn't do with the other kids because they were in a different place. So I always knew I was loved. I had a lot of love from, you know, family, and, you know, my godmother who just passed was someone who always gave me love. So I definitely understood a loving environment. But then I've dated people, you know, and it took me a while when you're used to certain things and then you get in a relationship with someone who that's not their reality. And they come from a kill or be killed type scenario. Like I had to fight my 8 brothers for a sandwich, you know, like that kind of thing. It's like a big difference. I had to learn because I'd be like, why are you acting like this? Why are you tripping like this? And then I had to, you know, it's something as you get older, you get in a better place at kind of understanding of how that's different mentality, you know.
Because it's a mentality they have.
Yeah.
You can't
I had people tell me, like I've had women tell me, like, you came from a such and such family, you know, and you had everything. I'm sitting there like we wasn't rich, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that, but it was just the fact that having a nuclear situation and all of that, and there was some resentment. I've experienced resentment from women who didn't experience that, and some male friends who.
But authentic love is a currency that most people that would argue that can't cash in. So yeah, there would be some resentment there. Not that it should be, but when you're coming from a healthy platform and they're not, they can't quite understand how that was okay for you and celebrate what you had because they didn't have room and space for that in their own growing up. So
I know some people who've never seen, like maybe their mother was a single mother and never seen their mother in a healthy relationship, you know, where every guy that she dated was like an absolute asshole, you know, don't even know what that looks like, you know, a loving relationship. Then there's some that come from a nuclear situation where mom and dad didn't get along, but they stayed together because of finances or because of the kids. And that was hell. Some people just don't need to be with each other, even if they have kids. So, you know, you could do more harm staying together and raising them in a toxic environment. So, you know, and the crazy thing is,
absolutely.
So I don't know has anyone ever experienced this where, let's say you come from a family that's close and close knit and whatnot, and you bring someone that you're involved with around your family, and they're just so kind of disconnected from it, like because this is not their reality, you know what I'm saying? And you know, they don't feel comfortable, you know, because you know you're hugging your uncles and your aunties, and you know what I'm saying, and all of that kind of stuff, and it's just real love being passed around. Like there's some people who've never had their mother never hugged them.
You got
their mother, the most nurturing person in your life is supposed to be your mother, right? Like my mother never hugged me.
Supposed to. That's the operative word. Because everybody didn't grow up with a mother. But I mean, those are conversations that you should be having pre going to family functions like that, because you want to not set anyone up for failure. And before I continue, I want to read what Maya wrote because I don't want to not honor what she said. She said, I halfway agree, but some people raised on survival also are in want and need of love, and being with someone who can share or show love with them helps them to learn to see life in a different way if they are open and willing to share that view. And I think that last part is probably optimal and key.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong, and that's why I posted what I posted. There's nothing wrong with someone who's raised on love being joined with someone who's raised on survival, because yes, they can both learn something from one another. It's all about communicating needs and setting boundaries and having conversations and comprehending well, and then acting upon what you guys have discussed and agreed upon as a relationship moves and progresses, so that you guys can feel safe, and then coming back to the table don't feel safe, because at the end of the day, there's room and space where people just don't feel safe, even though they're in a safe environment, because it's not familiar with, which is what you mentioned, Kente. Sometimes people see it and it sounds good, it looks good, but they've never had it, so they can't say it feels good because it's uncomfortable for them. And so sometimes you have to give people room to experience it and come to an acceptance of it on their own terms, because you're used to it. That's a privilege you've had, and they have not had that privilege.
And shout out to Badges, who's in the chat room as well.
Badges.
Yeah, it's been a minute, Badges. And real quick, this as a side note, tomorrow night we're going to be on at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And we'll be simulcasting here, but mainly we'll be on Facebook and using StreamYard. We're doing a ladies' night of comedy. So Danny Redwine will be on it. My good friend Dana, who we interviewed a couple of weeks ago, will be on it, as well as a comedian named Lady Day. And LA Wade is going to be on there as a guest co-host for my What's Good with Kente show. So if you guys like women who are funny, come right in. I know you all know Danny Redwine. It's going to be 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is California time, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. So check it out and support these young ladies. It's going to be funny. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. So.
Well, while you talking, you want to shout out to people in the room?
Yeah, you want to do it or you want me to?
I said while you're talking.
Okay, go ahead. You're on the phone. You got to swipe left, I think it is, right? Swipe left. Oh, okay.
So since it doesn't listen, I'll just go ahead and do it, because I said you could do it since you were talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At least in the Get Vocal chat room, because I don't know who's on the Facebook chat.
I'll do Facebook.
But Badges, Marisol, Andre, Bobby, Steph, Ala, Luke, Maya, and Raquel. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you. In Facebook, I see Sam is here. Melissa is here. Melvin Lars is here as well. If you guys want to join us, I put the and Curtis Brooks is here as well. If they want to join us in the Get Vocal chat, I have it posted in the pinup. And I know there's some more people I can't see, but thank you for being here. Okay, so we're talking about securing the bag, right? And I guess it depends on how you want to define it, right? The way that people talk about securing the bag, especially when it comes to relationship, is you find you a partner who can, with your combination with them, can take you to another economic plateau, right? That's one way of securing the bag, right? So women out there, you find you a good professional man. Maybe he's a doctor, a lawyer, investment banker, NBA player, or whatever, and that's the guy that you settle down with. That's like, it's cowboy hilarious. That's securing the bag, right? But here's the thing, though, about that is, just because somebody got money don't mean they're a great catch. And a lot of times,
That's right.
guys who are very successful, they kind of want a woman for like a window dressing, right? It's like, okay, if I'm this businessman and I want to be a CEO, right? You know, the CEOs are almost never single, right? And part of the CEO thing is that you have a wife and family, and because that screams stability, right? So like presidents always have a wife, right? I mean, would you? I mean, a single person running for president, you'd be like, why is he? Was he single? You think? Right. He had to coerce Rosario Dawson to mess with him, so he wouldn't look. Raquel knows what I'm talking about.
Circumstance, our current president has a wife, and he ain't worth a hill of beans. So
no, I'm just saying though, that's part of it. Is like
you barely see her.
If you want to be known as a man who's a stability, who serious, you want to have you a wife for sure.
Yeah, that's right? How you start business. I mean, they want to sit at the table and find out if you are with someone. Absolutely.
Right. And then I always talk about this. What's up, Melvin, in the chat? Is one of the reasons why Black people mess with Obama. Because remember, at first, Black people were skeptical about him. We thought he was all right. It was like then we got to know Michelle, and then we was like, oh, she a real sister. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people changed when they really starting to see Michelle. Michelle did a lot for Obama as far as the way that a lot of Black people saw him. When they saw their definitely, that's 100%. We wouldn't.
She helped him get elected.
If he had like if he didn't have that wife, specific her. Not even just that. It's just if she was real ratchet or she was, we'd be like it questions.
First lady,
huh?
Have we ever had a ratchet first lady?
No, not at all. But she wasn't first lady yet. So, but I'm just saying though, like, you wouldn't have rocked with him, right? So a guy with money and status, he may look at a Kedra or a Shannon as, you know what? She'll look good on my arm. I'll have some little nappy-headed kids, and they'll make sure that they're well groomed and educated, and it'll look good, having these women as my wife, and I'm still cheating, I'm still gonna have the mistresses and whatnot, but when I go to the red carpet event, I have these real polished women on my side, and it'll make me look stable and whatnot.
So why is it that he can get a Michelle, but we can't get an Obama? Why you got to be a cheat?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the mentality of some guys who are who have status. So a lot of times people just look at the status, right? It's like he's a doctor, he's a doctor, so you came up. But if he's an idiot and he treats you poorly, it doesn't matter what money he got.
But that's also people not doing their due diligence. Case in point, what did
that's funny.
Son say? My mother, shout out to Paula, was somebody before Denzel became who he was. She made more money than him.
Mm-hmm.
Successful before him.
Right.
So just because you're the one that's in the limelight, maybe she deferred her dream or merged her dream with yours so that you can rock hard. Like, we got to be purposed and passionate in these plans with one another if we're going to do this thing called life together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michelle Obama could have stayed and been a lawyer somewhere making all kinds of coin. Mm-hmm. But she got aligned with, what Barack wanted to do and who he wanted. That part, Stephanie. Look, and your comment, orange panty stain, will go down in history for the rest of my duration of living, because that's the most great.
You're at the bar or wherever it is that you go to have fun, supper club, whatever, poetry club,
open mic night.
When a guy tells you what he does for a living, your ears are perk up, right? You want to know what he's doing, right?
It depends.
It depends.
That part.
I mean,
but if
his
the
money. I
guy
can't
if the
be counting
guy
his
works
coin.
at Chipotle,
So,
I mean, can you bring a bowl home every night?
if he works at a Chipotle versus he owns 4 franchises of Chipotle, is a big difference.
That's his goal, but that's where you need to start having conversations. Is that all you want to do is work at Chipotle? Because just because that's where you standing on right now, I mean, as long as you standing on solid ground and you could pay your bills, we can still have a conversation. But if that's all you want to do, then you might not be the guy for me.
If you work,
that's a different story.
If you work at Chipotle and you want to date Shannon, you better be slanging.
No,
slanging it.
Be one. Build yourself. Like, I didn't come into my job just wanting to be an advocate. I wanted to manage something. I wanted to do some character development, some professional development within the entity in which I was working. And so there has to be some level of growth. Now, if you are at a cap already and you can't go no higher or you don't desire, because some people don't want to manage, to whom much is given is required. But at the end of the day, I still need to know that that's where you're going, and that is going to prepare you to rear a family, provide for a household, take care of ill parents in the event that they do get ill. Like, I need to know that your salary or your hustles, because, you know, it's nothing wrong with having 18 wheels of income, you know, knowing that those things can get you where you need to go. If all you're planning for is today, I don't think we're going to make it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, my favorite is the guy who's like 50. He's 50 peddling a mixtape. You know, it's like, I'm gonna make it, man. I'm gonna be the next Jay-Z.
Go somewhere.
And then the argument is, Jay-Z still doing it at 50, and
you already missed that mark.
And Ice-T, I'm like, but they started at 14.
But I'm not gonna demean anybody's dream, but there's got to be a level of realistic to it. Okay, you're not gonna be 50 and be the next Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's funny. No, I'm dashing your dreams. Yeah, Stephanie's hilarious. That's so true. I mean, but you know what? I don't blame. Especially, it's one thing when you're in your 20s, but once you get past 35, if you're a woman, you gotta. He's working at Chipotle. I can understand why a woman's like questioning. You know, he could be the greatest guy ever, just sweet, remembers your birthday, reads you poetry that he wrote himself and all of that. But are you really gonna mess with the guy? Well,
if he don't have no
he's trying to get to be that manager spot. I don't know. How long does it take?
How long is it gonna take him to get manager? My son, 23, he manager.
So my friend left her husband because he's been a teacher's aide for 10 years, and he takes home $600 every 2 weeks. Oh wow! So
he don't have no drive. But see, that also depends on if you have a woman that doesn't have any drive. So there's somebody for everybody.
I don't think women have the same pressure when it comes to relationships. So what's up, Angela? Like, a guy's not gonna break up with Shannon because she works at Barnes and Noble. You don't have that same pressure. That's more on men.
But the thing is, it all boils down to
everything's not.
Are you matched well? That's because I don't want somebody to be in my life who doesn't want me to challenge myself. You know, they know that's not the highest depth of my capacity. Exactly. Like, yeah, I may find that I enjoy working at a Barnes and Noble, but if my ultimate goal is to be a motivational speaker, what are we doing to do that, to get there, to make that happen? Because you can only do so much motivational speaking while you checking out people at Barnes and Noble.
Look, women, you can get away with, making sure there's grits every morning, if that's his thing, and coffee. Right? You don't have the pressure of, I got to do something that's on a certain level because I'm a certain age to be with this guy. The only way is if y'all are struggling financially, and the relationship needs you to do that. So yeah, she says it right. Men focus on acts of service. So
and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But most
right.
women are single and making more money, owning more businesses, having more degrees. So it's not even an issue of she doesn't have to. Most women already have.
We just want us men. We want to feel taken care of. That is perfectly well said. No, I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about.
Go find you a sugar
No,
mama.
I'm talking about.
There's plenty of them out there.
I'm talking about like this. If I am sick, not with COVID-19, I'm talking about like this, regular sick. Kedra, we love that shit when you're like feeling on her forehead. You put the thermometer. You make some soup that your grandma taught you how to make.
The
hot toddy.
As a woman, I can tell you, I had a boyfriend and he was sick. And he lived all the way across town. I made him soup. I came and took care of him.
We love that shit.
I cared about him.
What guy doesn't like that? Press 1 if you want your woman to make you soup when you're sick. See, we love that shit. That's the shit we love. Real men of substance. That's what we want from our women. He can make his own soup. No, I want my woman to make me soup. I want, and then also,
I'm gonna feed it to you too, boo.
You like I like women that know shit, right? Like, so I like the woman that knows, like, what drugs you're supposed to take when you're not feeling well. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like women with women skills, with wife skills, with mom skills. I want her to know more shit than I do. I know a lot, but there's nothing wrong with that. And you're from the Midwest, and you're from the South. That's supposed to be the epicenter of women that know shit, not submissive.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. I'm from the South.
Oh, that's double.
But I'm a Caribbean raised person. So, but I don't have that mindset. I'm gonna do it I want to do in the way I want to do it, because that doesn't mean that I have to follow the way that I was raised. I'm gonna give if he deserves to give. You know what I'm saying? If we're in a relationship, no problem me coming if you're sick, taking care of you, blah blah blah. But the moment you try,
I agree with that.
And you take it
I definitely agree with that. The Black community saw a balance in Michelle. So, yeah. And also, he said women's skills. Yeah, that's right. I said women's skills. I said it. Women's skills. You from Nebraska. You supposed to know this shit, Shannon. Yeah, that's the epicenter of hot toddy and all of that stuff.
Listen, Toucan Sam. Okay.
I feel like if you're dating a woman from Nebraska and you're feeling under the weather, you should feel real confident that she's gonna nurse you back to health, because she's from Nebraska. That's where they train. They literally train these girls at a young age. I'm from LA. Okay. LA, these women don't know nothing out here. That's why we importing women from the South and the Midwest out here. Right.
They know how to get that plastic surgery.
So I'm just saying, you want a guy with man skills?
I want a good human being.
You want a guy that
we have this conversation all the time, so we're always going to agree to disagree. It's not a matter of what I want in terms of traditional roles. As you know, I'm not you, so we are always going to differ on this. But at the end of the day, I want somebody who I can communicate effectively with about what makes sense for our relationship, so that we can comprehend how to get our needs met in the relationship, whatever that looks like. Because like Dre said, he can make his own soup, and he may make better soup than me.
I might. I'm a 5-star chef.
I like
I'm a
a man that can
5-star
cook.
chef.
I like to eat,
I've
so you
made
better know how
soup.
to cook.
I actually got a
If you
video I
can't
haven't
cook, you
posted
got
yet
to.
of me making this bomb ass soup, right? So I can do it, but I definitely want my woman to know how to do this stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that. You may also want her to,
You want to
slob on your knob like corn on the cob, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, if they don't do it just so, because you did say mommy skills, so some men do compare their woman to their mama.
No,
So
not me.
don't make her macaroni and cheese like your mama. You don't want to be getting offended talking about. I'd rather you not cook that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
To be, I'm not talking about you, but there are quite a few men in the world who do follow practice, and just like women who may want their man to be like their daddy. You know, the luxury of conversation is afforded to many. You got to choose whether or not you're going to talk about the things that are going to help your relationship thrive.
She says, make soup, freeze it, and then she can heat it up for you. Hilarious. And by the way, too, just as a side note, is making soup is not getting Campbell's or Chunky soup. That
no, of course not.
That is a divorce right there.
Put it in some water, add some bouillon cubes, get your stock flowing, drain the vegetables because they ain't gonna be worth nothing once you get your stock ready. Put your little bay leaf in there, start adding your diced chicken or whatever soup you trying to make. I mean, just let it simmer. Sometimes you just need to make a broth. It depends on what type of sick he is, because he might just need to drink something, eat a zest to have a ginger ale, and watch a little daytime television. Because some of y'all real dramatic when y'all sick.
I do, yeah, I do. But if my wife or my girlfriend is sick,
men are worse than little kids when they sick
too. I mean, it's a mutual thing. So I'm taking care of her. I'm taking her temperature, and yeah, for sure. For sure.
Baby and her handle.
Ordering soup does not count, Raquel. To my ordering soup. I could do that.
Purchases while you babying her.
No Postmate soup. I'm progressive. I like to eat out. We can get a chef if she wants to cook or not. It's not a big deal. That's not. I don't know, man. Especially if you're shopping in the South or the Midwest, right? You kind of that's supposed to come with the model, though. Don't you think?
Not necessarily.
Y'all new. Y'all new.
No. It has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, you're making assumptions or generalizations about people that you shouldn't. That's why I said communication is of the utmost, because you have to be able, because some people are attracted to a pretty face and they don't realize until after they didn't, fell in love into this pretty face or this beautiful man with all these coins that he can't fold. He don't know how to he don't know how to tie a tie. She don't know how to make a 5-course meal when you inviting people over so you can impress your boss. Like, if y'all aren't having these conversations, but the sex is good, that's on you. The onus is on you. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to be with you, Kente, I'm going to have a conversation about, well, these are the things that I bring to the table. I can, sew, I can knit, I can, I like to iron my sheets. Those are things you want to have with people.
Sounds like a good wife right there.
Already, I used to be a nanny. Cut it out.
No, I'm just saying that's good.
But if you're not having these conversations, or you might need to say, I order a mean takeout, and I might need to show you all the menus I have in my drawer, because that's what really matters, having those real conversations. And if you decide, I need my wife to be able to cook and not just order a mean takeout, you might want to be like, baby, let's take a cooking class together. Or since you got that 5-star chef capability in the kitchen and the bedroom, you can show her how it's done in both areas. And then y'all can go on and impress your boss next weekend at the dinner party. But if we're not having those conversations and we just showing up, like I said, because folks look good.
Oh, I had those conversations in the very beginning.
For failure. And
I had those conversations.
Expectations don't make relationships work. You have got to be so clear about what it is you are looking for, who you are, and how this is going to make it work. Because that's the goal to make it work, right?
But the reason why I brought it up though, really though, is and my thing is you shouldn't expect anything if you're not willing to give as well. So I'm not saying that a guy should expect all this stuff and he don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no woman should be with a man that, you know, you just give. So I really believe it's a mutual thing. So I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's like I'm Julius Caesar or something and I'm just sitting back, you feeding me grapes. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that sounds pretty cool. But no, I'm only serious. But no, but I going back to a guy who has means and what he's looking for, right? And you have to decide also, like, I hate this idea that men and women do sometimes is where it's like insert man, woman here. So it's like this. A lot of women do this too, right? Where it's like, okay, I got the job. I have the little Mercedes. Remember back then, all the sisters had Mercedes back in the day. That was like a thing. I have the, this, that, and the third. All I need to do is add man here and I'm set. And they want this specific dude that fits a certain mold and their picture is set. Some women just want the wedding. So it's like I know women who marry guys and that shit, and then they got a divorce soon after. And they said, you know what I wanted was I just wanted the wedding. And I got it. You know, I got the wedding. I have the photos and the memories. I'm like, but you divorced him like 2 months later. Like, like that's crazy. Right. So, so a lot of guys, now let's get to the guys, right? Is, I'm successful. I'm, so-and-so, whatever, I have, this position that whatever. So all I need is, I just need Kedra will complete the puzzle. Shannon will complete the puzzle, or any woman will complete this puzzle. And that's what your job is to do, woman, is to, complete this puzzle. And I got everything lined up and all of that.
But let me tell you, I had a boyfriend that's a doctor. Very smart, very brilliant. And the things that he wanted were not the same things that I wanted. And we had these conversations. And so at the end of the day, I get that, oh my God, but he's a doctor. Why don't you be with him? It doesn't matter if he was the president of the United States. If we don't want the same goals,
and at the end of the day, Angela Marie said it's a checklist life. We're not items to be put onto someone's to-do list. Everyone's idea of what the American dream is like, for them is sometimes summed up in a to-do list. It's like, get that MBA, secure that, top VP position in a Fortune 500 company, get me a Tesla and have a wife and 2.5 kids and a picket fence. Like, those are check off items. But you aren't actually engaging what that process looks like, the work that's invested to make that work. I mean, some people are so book smart that they're not relational smart, or they're not relational savvy, or they don't know how they can, solve Pythagorean's theorem. They can cure the world of homelessness. But when it comes to being engaged in a relationship, they are. And so until you engage yourself wholly and fully for yourself, by yourself, and then with another person, you're just living in a fantasy world. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having those things in mind because it helps you achieve goals. But if all you're doing it for is just to check it off a list, what's the satisfaction in that?
You also have guys that they get married because they want a coochie resource. So basically it's like you marry a woman because then you're like, oh, okay, I've
Oh
secured,
my.
frequent coochie. So I've heard guys say that. So you got to be careful. You don't know what are you fulfilling for that person. They're never gonna tell you that. Not at all. Which I think is silly because getting married to have sex sounds silly.
Some people want it like that.
But usually, doesn't it decrease?
Yes.
Most
Depends on
people.
who you are. Because I have a friend who's been married for a very long time, and she said her and her husband gets it in every day, and they still get it in every day, and they got the children to prove it too. 'Cause they've got quite a few, but
I got a friend.
Really?
She told me they've been married for 20 years, and her and her husband are still like bunny rabbits, just getting it on. Oh yeah, they keep it romance. They don't.
That's great because I've heard a lot
They
of the
keep
other
it
way
going.
where it's like,
They rekindle
man,
that
I married
flame,
this girl, and man, I'm with my girlfriend Pamela.
stupid.
So a lot of women lose their mojo after childbirth too. No, that's a real thing.
Depends on-
I didn't
That's
say
not
every
true.
woman. I said there's a lot of women that go through that.
It's not some women. Some women.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like some people they go through postpartum
Right.
depression.
I mean, but it happens though. It does happen.
So you have to think about that. That's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. Women go through postpartum depression, and that's some real stuff. But that's a whole nother subject. And I mean, and if they don't keep it, I mean,
And
it's a phase that they go
there's some
through.
layers to that
But
too,
yet, and still,
because
it's a very
nothing
dramatic
changes for the woman in the process of her having a child. I mean, for the most part, she still cleans, she still cooks, she still works sometimes, and so now she is postpartum attached to that, and he's just coming home and doing what he's normally done, which may or may not be a whole lot of anything besides being the breadwinner. And because even like on the Black Love documentary, they had this conversation, life after children. How about you come home and you put the clothes away that I washed today, or you wash the dishes and make sure the kids have their bath, so that if you want me to be steamy and romantic with you and lay down all of the good goods so you can bust it wide open, we gonna have to have some shared responsibilities, because by the time I get done cleaning up the kids' toys, giving them a bath, putting them to bed, reading their third book, and making sure that your dinner is hot and not just sitting on the table when you get home from work, like there's got to be some shared experience, some shared effort. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, well, I rolled over. Get in what you need to get in so I can roll back over and go to sleep. Like that was the conversation on, and it's real because people aren't having these conversations with each other. Like, honey, I'm tired, but if you want to help decrease my lack of energy, you can come home and do some housework.
I just was working for 8 hours. I might as well work and get more. I just got home from work.
And if you do that, you might get if you do that.
But that's why I said there has to be some level of agreement. There has to be some level of understanding, because if she's just giving, and she's the only resource,
and the woman wasn't working. No, she's not working though.
It's going to be to the detriment, or maybe she is working, because I'm not saying that she isn't working, but what I'm saying is her responsibilities rarely change once she has kids. So she may work a full-time job, get the kids from school, come home and help them with their homework, prepare the dinner, clean up, nurse a baby, whatever the case may be. And he come home,
give them their bath,
pat her on the butt, smack the kids on their head, tell them, hey, I love you, grab a beer and go sit down and watch Sports Center, and expect his dinner to be brought to him. Nothing wrong with that, because I believe you speak to the king of him, he speaks to the queen of you, but that has to be a conversation, not a monologue. Because if I'm the only one talking in this marriage, I mean, I'm gonna be.
That's why you hire Miss Zimbabwe.
It's a wrap.
Miss Zimbabwe is my code for that hot.
No, that's not why we hire Miss Zimbabwe.
Nanny that comes and takes the load off. She's gonna help with the load.
You come and help
Sure.
with the load. This is a partnership.
That's where, and there's nothing. Shout out to people who do hire housekeepers and maids and nannies and au pairs and all those things, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's what works for your family. However, there still has to be conversations about how we are going to keep our romance alive, how we are going, because sometimes, and they said this too, sometimes in the reality of it all, we might need to schedule some nookie. Because you can't, I mean, yeah, there's some spontaneity because we all love that. But sometimes you're going to have to be intentional now that we have kids, or say your parent is ill and now they've moved into our home and you are a mama's boy and you just love spending time with your mama. So you may go and hang out with her and she got you playing bid whist at the kitchen table. And I didn't put the kids down and I'm about to go get in the bed. It's not that I wasn't planning to give you some, but the day's been long. And if you take too long, I might be asleep.
That's so funny. That'd be so weird though for Alexa to remind us to have sex.
I mean, Alexa ain't gotta remind you, but I might be sending you a text while you at the office at 4:45 with a suggestive picture talking about I can't wait till the kids get down tonight so we can get down tonight.
She's like, time. She said she'll be like, time for nookie. Sam says, "Sup with these horrible examples. It's 2020, not 1950. I don't want a." Hold on a second.
First of all, we're not
traditional marriage with these values. I'm progressive, and I will get us a nanny, a housekeeper, etc. I don't want to live like my grandparents. Well, that was me reading like that.
Some people, for some people that works, and Sam, that's not a catch-all for everyone. Okay. Some people want to live like their grandparents. I know my grandparents are 93 and 92, and they are still married. That's right. And my grandmother, to this day, because I talk to her every week, and when she has on her hearing aid, it's even more hilarious. But she will say, I got to get Dad's dinner on the table. And I ask her, well, what are you cooking Grandpa today? And she'll say she's made him a meal or what he's asking for. And, you know, my grandfather, when he's in the mood, will go down the street, pull the apples off the tree, cut them up, and she'll bake a pie. So there is nothing wrong with wanting that model to emulate and add your own flair.
When you said when my grandfather is in the mood, he goes down the street, I was like, where's this story going?
It works best for you.
They don't have an apple tree in their yard, but I've seen them with buckets of apples, and I'm like, whose apple?
I didn't think you were going to say apples for a minute. I was like, oh wow, he was doing real good at 93.
Well, sit down somewhere. Let me tell you, especially with COVID running the streets. Sit down somewhere, Grandpa. Shout out to my grandparents. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with seeing, because I didn't grow up with ideal role models in marriage per se, but I can respect the beauty in my grandparents' marriage now that I'm almost 40, because there's something to honor in that they're still together. You know, she still honors and reverences him as her husband. And it's not I run the house, you do what I say. That is an extension of her love for him. And I think it's beautiful, because that's what's made their relationship work. Their ebb and flow is effortless. Now, has it always been easy? Absolutely not. They got 6 knuckleheads for children, and I've already buried half of them, my dad included. But the point of that is that you're going to go through some things in your marriage. They're either going to break you or they're going to build you. And that's the beauty of it. Are you willing to build with someone? Are you willing to grow with someone? Are you engage someone and have a give and take? Relationships should never be you get 50, I get 50, because we're whole people. I'm bringing 100 to the table. And the days that I'm not at my optimal best, you still got me. And I still got you when you're not at your optimal best. So today I may not cook the dinner meal. You might need to order takeout and bring it home because your kids done drove me crazy. And because you did think about bringing home takeout instead of making me cook tonight, I'm going to lay you out once we put the kids down, and we both going to sleep real good at night. Don't make that face.
I still want my suit.
Well, go get you some, bruh.
y'all don't make no soup anymore.
Go
All
find
right.
your boo
So
to make your soup.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we're gonna close the show out, but we're gonna keep it going. So this is just to close off the recording. So but we're still here. We're gonna still be on Facebook, and we're still gonna be on Get Vocal. So Kedra, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Kedra.
All right, we got to get you back on soon.
Curry, Quintana,
and you're starting to do your own
Kedra
streaming
G
as well
on Instagram.
So we want to definitely be able to check you out. How can we check you out there to see when you start streaming? Oh, okay. I thought that was like I thought you said that was going to be
no streaming. I just did a live
thing.
The other day. That's it.
Nice.
Oh no! I said later on I'm gonna do a health and fitness thing because I've lost 20 pounds so far, and thank you. I changed the way that I eat, and that was the main thing, my diet. Because I was going to the gym and everything, and wasn't losing like I needed to. But once I changed my diet and my lifestyle,
all right. So Shannon, how can we get you in social media and all that beautiful stuff?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Shannon Ford like the president, _ Jefferson like the president.
All right. You can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram, and then you can get me at indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. All right.